IP Capt Chamnan Kumsap. Please welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Group Captain Chamnan Kumsap, and I'm very pleased to share with you the flood simulation system for public participation of local administrative organizations in Tha Wang Pha District, Nan Province of Thailand. It is the result of hard work and collaboration between Defense Technology Institute and Chiang Mai University of Thailand. The activities leading to this innovation were funded by National Research Council of Thailand. And private sectors since the date of the establishment. Basically, we look for the cooperation in a number of tangible forms, such as to establish or to jointly form a legal entity for joint ventures or holding shares with domestic and foreign partners. Next slide, please. The system sets a very good example for the multi-agency cooperation. The R&D product was used as the knowledge-sharing medium, where 50 representatives from 7 administrative organizations became engaged with the activities. We also involved provincial disaster prevention and mitigation officials from Chiang Klang branch. And recently, they had a chance to use the system and to compare simulated scenes to reality during the flood that took place on the second week of this August. Next, please. With the knowledge and technology to transfer the flood simulation system and the assessment achieved via a series of questionnaires, we concluded that 88% of participants will apply the gained knowledge and technology to flood preparedness. More activities were recently organized to transfer the knowledge and technology to pupils and teachers at the district school and in the future to heads of government agencies of the district. Next slide, please. We strongly believe that our system drowns out the crowd because we integrated knowledge, technologies, and people. We engaged several government agencies through formal participation with our knowledge and technology transfer activities. And last but not least, we ensure that the public with all-time availability and 100% accessibility of the simulation system. With public service as the underlying principle of our solution, we helped the local government officials to use the innovation for flood simulation preparedness to gain sufficient knowledge and skills to use the system for flood risk reduction, to maximize benefits and seek value-added opportunities in other areas of frequent floods, and to encourage the attitude of local government officials on application other than flood situation. Next slide, please. Since the introduction of our system to the participants, we directly and indirectly benefited 50,519 people of Tha Wang Pha District of Nan Province, helped them with flood preparedness early warning announcement via community radios, facilitated current 5 officials of Nan Provincial Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Office at Chiang Klang branch for technology to deal with flood situation. We aim to advocate heads of government agencies to implement guidelines on the next round of activities. We already extended the use of our system to pupils and teachers at Tha Wang Pha Pithiyakom School to help their parents prepare for flood situation. Next, please. We have 5 plans to sustainability to apply to 5 other districts under responsibility to complete 10 local administrative organizations in Tha Wang Pha District to create a complete network of school cooperation for use of the flood simulation system within responsible areas of the Nan Provincial Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Office at Chiang Mai branch, to engage heads of other local administrative organizations in Tha Wang Pha District with the plan, and to engage all heads of government agencies in Chiang Mai District, Hua District, Thung Chang District, Song Khwae District, and Chalerm Progress District for the plan. Next slide, please. In the next fiscal year, we plan to implement English for foreigners living in or tourists visiting Nan Province, to use up-to-date land use maps from UAV, LiDAR, or even satellite images, to link details of genuine family members for individual damage assessment and rescue plan, and to strive for real-time user system interaction. Next slide, please. We also have an ambitious plan to expand the flood simulation system. We adopted the military concept of operation for disaster management and training for disaster risk reduction, as we have illustrated on the slide. Some stations were fully researched and tested, and some are expected to receive budget from funding agencies next year and open to collaboration and further exploration. Next slide, please. It will be the last slide. With the QR code, you can access the system, but you need to also read and understand Thai. We thank Global Water Partnership Southeast Asia for this opportunity to share our innovative solution to the audience here in the room and online. We anticipate foreign cooperation and collaboration to further expand this concept of public service. Thank you.
Thank you so much for Mr. Captain Chamnan Kumsap. Please welcome to the stage.
Inventors already share their insight, experience, and innovation solution to reduce the risk associated with urban flooding. Allow me to invite Dr. Lee Van Min, the chair of IWRM Vietnam, to come to the stage. With respect, I hereby invite you to begin the discussion as a panelist. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, good. I think that we heard already three presentations dealing with the flood, in the urban areas. The reason, the cause of the urban flooding in our region is very different. For example, in my country, the reason is the heavy raining. The second is the high level tide, land subsidence, and the upper regulation sometimes also affect on the city flood. And we also, talk and dealing with three phases. Awareness, preparedness, the first before flood coming, and we also the response during the flood coming, and after that, very important for the country is recovery mitigation. So that from the presentation, I observed that, more or less, the innovation solutions dealing with all of this issue, especially the also related to flash floods, related to the how to organize and manage for the damage, the assessment. This is very important for any flood. If we would like to start from recovery, we need to have very good damage assessment, so that the one of the important thing that, for example, in the case of Vietnam, we consider how to mobilize more, participatory from the all stakeholders, so that in these presentations, I think that they read some more or less they deal with that, and this is very important enough for our region. That I think that these innovative solutions could be, enhance some support for our countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Min. Is there any questions? What? Mbak Luis?
Yeah, again, amazing presentations. Thank you for that. I have a question for the water resilience, that information system out there. This is exactly what I meant when I said, let's democratize data. Right? For the last 3 years, we have been talking about it and trying to push through inside the GWP, and you guys just did it. So that's really a big congratulations, and I would say, let me push that that facility that you have further, because when I say democratize data, I really mean that citizens, people, corporations with risk of losing millions, let alone lives, right? Local politicians, they're going to vote for and pressurize them, make that change, get that budget to do the structures are needed out there. Because I have that concept that politicians of today, from United States to European politicians to Asians and Africans, they are not there to serve your interest. Now, black and white, but they are not there to save, to work on your interest, right? So your tool, and if we can help spreading that and improving it by connecting citizens all around the world on such a data system to add, can you build a facility that is not only putting a red dot or a red color in high-risk areas with the technical data, but is there a way, and you don't have to solve that problem right now, but is there a way that you could add a facility that basically would empower citizens or stakeholders using your system to immediately send a message and share that with an action to their local government representatives? Right? Think about that. You're going to make a lot of money with that. The other question I have for Aqueduct is I find the things you presented, classic civil, heavy structure. Heavy. Is the kind of things when I was a student in civil, that's the kind of stuff I would see in the Netherlands, where I grew up as a student in civil engineering, hydraulics. Now, would there be space in your concepts and design to do two things? Because where water moves, kinetic energy is available. Can you use it? Can you integrate the systems with generating or storing energy? Number one. Number two, in the Netherlands, we graduated from, or made that evolution from heavy, civil, costly billion-dollar structures to nature-based solutions for floods, for managing floods. In the Netherlands, we don't build those structures anymore, right? I do get the point of dense urban population. So do you see opportunities for more nature-based and lightweight, less costly solutions? Thank you so much.
All right, well, I'll go first. Thank you for the question. And I'm glad you mentioned the democratization of data. When you said that earlier today, I actually wrote that down because that's at the heart of what we do, is really pulling together that information. And I spent some time with somebody this morning who was asking about, well, in Asia and in some of the countries represented here, we have a much harder time getting data than you do in the United States. So I think it's a different issue here. And my response to them was, in the US, we have 31 separate agencies in the federal government of the United States who produce water data, and nobody has the mission or mandate to pull that data together. So we've actually had customers from the US government who have then asked us to pull different data from a different agency of the same government. So the same issue exists all around the world. And when you pull that together, it does create that new picture. You can start to see correlations of things that are unimaginable or things that you couldn't, you just didn't even know were there until you can layer information on top in that way. So we produce water quality data. I didn't get a chance to share that today, where we score water quality, drinking water quality, surface water quality, and then surface water broken down into its component parts of industry, ag, stormwater, and so forth. And we score that in a way to show what the score is for human health reasons. And we provide that free of charge, the drinking water data in the United States on any geolocated area. So to some respects, we are at the very beginning stages of what you suggested there, and providing that data out back to the citizenry so that they can use that for their own decisions. Hopefully part of those decisions is creating that political will and going back to their representatives to drive it forward. But we'll take your challenge. I like the idea.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, that's the most important question everybody asks me, why is it too expensive? Okay. Actually, we have many versions of it, actually. So aqueduct is basically, the idea is to elevate the flood water and then discharge above the seawater or storm surge. So you can easily do it in pipes also. You can connect a pipe also, or you can do it on top of existing dike. Japan have a lot of dikes, I can just use it on top of existing dike also. So it becomes very cheap and manageable as compared to what I've shown. What I've shown here is because it is in an urban setting and they already have existing bridges. Actually. So we cannot do a dike or bund and do aqueduct on top of that, which is very cost effective. We have to do in a structure base. So we have to really elevate it very high. So it clears all the bridges and still able to go to the sea. So it's very challenging system when it comes to the urban flood mitigation using aqueduct. But nevertheless, we have to find a suitable location to discharge it effectively, and the method of construction based on land availability. If the land is available, then we can just do a earth bund or a dike and use it as a aqueduct. Hydro, obviously, I love it so much. It works beautifully with this actually.
Let me relate to the comments from the commentator. We used UAV in order to scan the whole study area, 40 square kilometers, in order to get the resolution down to 10 meters, in order to get the real damage assessment close to reality. And then we use the GIS to make an interval each 20 centimeters in order for the villagers or the participants to simulate the flooding level each 20 centimeters in order to get the very close damage assessment. And we evaluated our system during this previous flood in August, just a few months ago, and it is close to what really happened in the field.
you. I'm going to ask maybe two potentially opportunity questions there. The first question is to Eric. I'd be curious actually, sitting on this panel, listening to your peers' presentation, in particular the case from Thailand, the Nan Province. What are your key takeaways there? Because obviously the Thailand, sort of a case really emphasizing there's a people element there, which is not that much highlighted in your case at the moment. So that's the first sort of curiosity question, potential opportunity question there. The second one, COP28 is coming up and soon. And I think as we all realize actually at the UN level, global level, climate adaptation has been becoming more and more sort of emphasized. And as part of the obligation, many countries government started to commit to national climate adaptation or resilience strategy. I know China has already rolled out this 2035 strategy plan already there. So with the plan, all the cases you presented here today definitely going to be major part of the solution to deliver that. I'm curious actually about countries in Southeast Asia. What's your thinking about that potentially this opportunity, because there is going to be money theoretically committed by more developed countries, donor countries, to support Southeast Asia, other developing countries actually to enhance that sort of capability. I would be curious about what's your this opportunity potentially, there literally, and how do you see that, impacting your sort of a field of work down the road? Thank you.
You want me to go first? Okay. Yeah. So both questions, and I think I'll probably answer both of them in concert because I think they relate. So if I start with the second, though, on climate mitigation and climate adaptation, for that matter, that's really where we foresee the system that I showed you being used the most, and that's why we've leaned so heavily into risk modeling. Is that the human aspect of what my colleague up here spoke about? Certainly, you don't see that when you talk about a digital hydrology universe, right? I mean, there's no people in the digital world, right? So, but the way you impact that is by planning, and by pulling together the appropriate level of planning in terms of what do we see as in the risk models going forward on a very specific geolocated area, so that we can make the proper plans ahead of time, so that we can do what we plan to do at COP28, right? Which is to build that climate mitigation, climate adaptation, or as I'm building new sites, not just mitigating the current risks I have, but as I go build something new, let me do that in a very informed and confident way because I have the data to support that. So that's that's how I would bring the personal aspect into that. In terms of COP28, I mean, we do see the mitigation and adaptation as a big opportunity because we need to be driving that planning. I think the message that everybody here in this room needs to take back, though, is to make sure that when we talk about climate mitigation, that we don't spend all of the time talking about carbon, because that is still the overriding discussion, I find, in anything we talk about mitigation, transition, acute and chronic problems. Everything starts, and hopefully doesn't end, but starts with carbon, and it should start there, right? Because that is the driving factor. But we all live with the water aspect of the impacts that climate change has caused. So since we live with that, that's where we all need to really focus on what those solutions are. Because even if we got to a net zero economy tomorrow across the entire globe, we'd still be dealing with the impacts of climate change for at least the next couple generations, or at least the next couple decades at least, right? So we need to adjust our world, mitigate and adapt to what we're living in by taking the right planning steps. And that's what we hope that our solution delivers the way for people to make those plans.
Yeah. In addition to Eric mentioned the data sharing, we have the same painful experience in our country, whereby we took probably 6 to 9 months to get the data collection for our IRBM study, which is a subset of IWRM. So it's kind of very painful exercise to get data across the agencies. So this is one thing. I was wondering also, for example, if you are doing a modeling, coastal modeling, for water quality modeling for Strait of Malacca, for example, we will have doubtful result because we only have half of the bathymetry from our side. We don't have it for the Indonesia side. Similarly, when we model the Strait of Johor, we don't have the bathymetry from the Singapore side. So is there any roles that GWP can play in coordinating this in terms of data sharing, I suppose?
My advice is to get started. So, because if we wait for having perfect information to be able to do everything, then we never start, right? So start with what you have and start to make decisions off of that. And that creates the clarity of situation for the people who don't have the data or who haven't invested to say, well, why does somebody over there have that type of information, that type of system? They're making these informed decisions. They're confident in what they're doing. Well, then you start to see that investment flow in, right? So I'd say start with where you have good information, and start where you don't have good information to start pointing out where those gaps are. And if it takes 3, 4, 5 years to run through an entire project to pull all that together, then I'd rather that clock start ticking right now than wait 3, 4 years to start. I heard somebody say, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, right? When's the second best time? Today, right? So, get started. And just because you didn't start 5 years ago doesn't mean you shouldn't start right now.
Yes, because I don't know, maybe up to now we tend to manage flood when the problem occurred already. But is there a good way, like we predict or we try to assess the future risk of flood or drought in the future long-term scenario, so that we can proactively take action or to address those that is going to happen in the future? Maybe this is also a good way. By not waiting until the damage occur, we can proactively take action.
Yes, absolutely. So the 4 areas that we focus our efforts are water quality, water quantity, long-term events, so climate change, and disaster events. So either an industrial spill or say a hurricane or something of that nature that causes water issues. And then we try to forecast forward around those areas. So I think in your comments here a minute ago when you talked about flooding is caused by a lot of different things, right? So you have storm surge, you have tides, you have precipitation change, you have the urban environment has changed. So when we look at flooding, we look at those on a multiple factor basis because you can stack them. I mean, what happens if you have storm surge at the same time that you have a high tide event, right? Now you have a double impact. You have to understand that when you're building that into your flood model. The same applies though on drought or what we would call water balance. So what we're endeavoring to do in our forecasting model is by basin to go through what the water availability is within that basin out to 2100 under the different variables that somebody picks, right? So that would include drought. Under the definition that we heard earlier today around drought, but that also water balance also is water stress from having too much water, right? So we talk about the Philippines often in our business because we've done some conversations there. The Philippines, we would talk about being rain rich and water poor, right? Because of how that infrastructure has been built, how quickly some of the water runs off, what the water balance situation is in a lot of those places. So absolutely, you should be looking at both of those, quantity, quality, and then the factors you mentioned there as well. We must be having that much fun, right? There you go. All right.
Okay, thank you so much for our presenter and also Dr. Min as panelist. So the important keyword is how to implement the collaboration because 10 minutes, okay. So anyone to add the questions? Please, we invite the
Thank you. One thing, sort of really missing in the conversation is really the capability, capacity, expertise in the region, including policymakers, regulators here, because this is a new trend. This is a pivotal moment for this region. Of course, you guys, as the leading innovators, you are the leading expertise already, but don't forget the majority of this region of people, organizations, governments are not there yet. So that's why I want to bring up this sort of the aspect that why you definitely say, I have solutions, just to deploy, invest in my solutions. Please be patient and also make sure you spend some time and efforts and resources to help build up a capacity, including on the decision makers' perspective. That's a huge gap there. And so that's something I have not really heard much during this particular session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it's
Thank
very
you so
important. So I don't want to limit anyone actually. So I don't know because the boss said it's okay. So please feel free to.
Yeah, I would spend only a few minutes because I'm from the public organization under the supervision of the Minister of Defense. And actually, we are working as a public service organization in terms of the research and development. And we have been working close with the local people, and we have access to the high level in the Ministry of Defense. So we quite certain that our solution or our innovation can be implemented. And our study area is the Nan Province, is the constituent area of the party that formed our recent government now. So we can have access to the policymaker. So you can be assured that our solution will be implemented soon. Thank you.
A little bit. But what from our experience for past years, wherever we go, the government agency or the stakeholders, some or other they like the solution and then they are looking forward to implement it. Only challenges is some authorities are still in old school and taking new innovation, new ideas to solve a certain problem, taking time actually. So the infiltration, the penetration or the what you call the movement of idea is slow actually. And some of them do not believe climate change is real. No? They still believe that today's storm and it's not going to come tomorrow. But actually tomorrow's storm is going to be worse than today's actually. And I always tell that we are like a frog, you know, you put it into a clay pot and then you slowly heat it up. The frog will now never jump out from clay pot because it can adjust the body temperature and then stay there. And when the temperature becomes so hot and it becomes so weak, it cannot jump out and it dies. So I hope that we don't become the frog actually, because the temperature is slowly getting hotter and hotter. The mother nature is getting stronger. So we have to be prepared for what is coming in the future. Actually.
Okay. Is there anyone to add question or input? Person? No? There is no, yeah.
If no one want to add or give like a very final key takeaway maybe or summary of the sessions, then maybe I think I suggest to move to the next part. Yeah.
Okay.
Is
Thank
there
you so
anyone
much.
from the participant want to add? No?
Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you very much, Bu Ati, for moderating the sessions. I just have like one request for the innovators to please stand in front of the stage. Also from the previous teams innovators. Mbak Mustika, are you still here with us? Yeah, please come to the front. Bu Astria. Who else? I forgot to. Maybe and Mr. Mr. Auger, please come in the front.
Yeah, we would like to ask, please come here. We will provide with a token of appreciation and also certificate. It's not much from us, but we appreciate very much the innovation that you have brought. And for the online innovators that could not join us, we will of course keep it, and then we will, when we have the opportunity to meet, we will provide to them. So I would like to give this to all the innovators. We have the flag and the certificate. Please wait. Okay, so today we have a special session on the transboundary tomorrow, but today we have the, how do you say, the honor to receive 30 global youth movement. They are coming here. So if anyone would like to stay and join to discuss with them, because they would like to discuss with us about what they can bring for the preparation of the World Water Forum next year. So if anyone would like to join us in this room, please, we will appreciate that. But for the innovators, maybe you can also share with them later. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much for today. Thank you for the innovators. Thank you for the participant. Thank you for the participant online. And also thank you for the innovators online that couldn't join us. Thank you very much for your attention and your inputs. I hope all the inputs also from the participants can also help to refine